Let's talk about this Steelers roster position by position. Let's begin with Najee Harris. And we talked about this earlier in the week. The moment where Najee Harris realizes that unlike Alabama, where media is nowhere close to a practice session, they actually are present for what happens for portions of an NFL practice.
They are. And
we saw you today with a one-handed catch. Also nearly come down with one that was thrown behind.
You saw that?
I saw that. And then you almost caught one that was thrown behind.
You guys were here?
We were there watching, yeah.
Where are you guys at?
We were up on the balcony. But
man, I thought y'all was boosters. What the hell? That's crazy.
Sorry, Chris. I gave you the fake out on the throw.
That's all
and every
right.
once in a while, as I'm setting it up, I ask myself, is he going to realize? Does he know? Is he reading the
no, I'm
sheet
not reading the
that
sheet.
says-
Yeah, no, I'm
obviously.
not. Yeah.
Today, obviously, the answer is no.
No.
Some days it's yes. Some days it's coincidence.
Well, some
I have a
days
feeling most days it's coincidence.
Well,
Some days it's more obvious that I'm making the throw.
Well, yeah. And then, it's like we get into conversations and we're talking, and I got other things open, and I'm kind of looking at, and then I'm like, oh wait, he's throwing to that. I mean, that's hilarious. First off, boosters. Yeah. Yeah, the Rooney's got boosters up there. That's what they're doing. But
I like Najee Harris, though.
Yes.
And again, he's got that electric smile. He can say whatever the hell he wants as long as he chases it with that smile.
Agreed. He's got a way about him that's, very infectious that way. And, when you talk about like a player, attitude, everything, being the perfect fit, right? I mean, it just seems the right way. Yeah, Alabama running back. Alabama, one of the few teams that still does smash mouth type stuff, running the ball. Going to Pittsburgh, and yeah, we're going to, just start up a new toughness on the offensive side of the ball. All right, and he can do all those type of things and then catch the ball out of the backfield. I expect to see a whole lot of him. I don't expect to see much running back by committee at all in Pittsburgh. And just knowing Mike Tomlin, I think he's going to love this guy, pump him up to the team, love the size and physicality he brings to the team, and he's going to want to they're going to try to make this the next Le'Veon Bell. That's what they're going to do. Power football, power football, power football. Oh, wait. Now they're in the empty formation, and he's in the slot. He's a really good route runner. And that's where I think they're excited about Najee Harris and what he can do there.
Yeah, and Kevin Colbert, the GM of the team, said on PFTPM a couple of weeks ago, this is a 3-down running back, and they haven't had that since Le'Veon Bell. How do we feel about their overall backfield, though, when we factor in Harris, Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, Kalen Ballage? Feels, when you add Harris, feels more potent than it's been in a long time.
It's complete now. He makes it feel complete. Like it was. If it was without him, you're going, ooh, they need something else or someone. There's got to be something else there. Now you got the stud, and you got guys that can fill certain roles behind it that way. Benny Snell, similar but not as good, right? So he could be the power guy to go along with it. Jalen Samuels can do a little bit of everything. He's a Swiss Army knife a little bit as far as a running back. He's a fullback. He's a tailback. He's an H-back as far as an extra tight end. And then you got Anthony McFarland, who's kind of like a jitterbug, where they tried to get him involved a little bit last year. I think he could be that guy that's kind of the change of pace guy off of Najee Harris. So, yeah, it's a pretty well-rounded group now, I think, when you look at it, especially with him at the helm.
He's kind of become the forgotten man, Jalen Samuels, in Pittsburgh. I remember you were hot on him when he was a rookie a few years back. But they've got a lot of flexibility now. But I think, as you say, it's all going to run through Najee Harris. Receiver, a significant strength on this team, especially with JuJu SmithSchuster back. He's going to have a hard time getting playing time. And I saw that he said not that long ago that he's going to be playing more on the outside. You got Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, James Washington. I don't know where JuJu fits into the outside game. I would think he would want to be the guy who can take advantage of favorable matchups underneath when you've got the guys on the outside who are attracting the extra attention.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong there with that thought, Mike. I don't. JuJu, the good thing he has, like, I think you're saying, like, yeah, he's made for the slot a little bit more, to your point. Agreed. But the good thing about him, too, is because he's such a big human being, he is an outside threat because he is one of those guys, too, that even if he doesn't beat you, he's so big, even when he's covered, he's not covered. You could throw back shoulders and jump balls and those things. And I think why we hear this with him saying, I might play outside more is really because of Deontay Johnson. I think Deontay Johnson is an outstanding route runner. And he really, even though has more speed than JuJu SmithSchuster, he's made to be that Emmanuel Sanders type guy, right? That's really what he reminds me of as a player. And I think, that's why they drafted him. So I would expect maybe him to take some of that, role from JuJu this year a little bit. And then you got Claypool and JuJu on the outside, which is damn good. And a new tight end that they drafted in the second round out of Penn State. So they got some flexibility with passing weapons for sure.
And really for JuJu, it's one thing to play on the outside. It's another thing to try to be the number one guy. We saw that a couple of years ago. It didn't work because he doesn't have the speed to stretch the defense and attract extra attention like an Antonio Brown had. You mentioned the Penn State tight end taken in the second round, Pat Freiermuth. Here he is talking about the nickname he's already picked up of Baby Gronk.
Pat, I wanted to ask you about the nickname Baby Gronk. I saw that Penn State gave that to you. How did that come about, and how do you feel about it?
I guess it came about just because I'm from that area. War 87, obviously Gronk played for the Patriots for a long time. Grew up, kind of watching them. I hate it because I think it's pretty annoying that I'm being called Baby Gronk. But I'm trying to get away from that nickname. So I don't want to be called that.
Free advice to anyone out there that has a nickname you don't like. Never say you don't like it. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's got a far better chance of going away if you ignore it, especially when you're a rookie on an NFL team, because all those guys are going to know he doesn't like it.
What?
So they're all going to be calling him Baby Gronk all year long.
What? I mean, exactly. You're spot on. If I heard that right there, the next time I see him walk in the locker room, I'm yelling Baby Gronk out loud. Like, you're not going to hear the end of it. I'm going to the equipment guys and going, hey, let's change his nameplate on top of him and make it Baby Gronk. I mean, that's what you're doing. You got to be careful, to your point, about what you say on a live mic because the players will use it against you in a locker room.
I would never guess that you would be that way.
Yeah, no, never, right? But he's a really good player. And I would be shocked if he doesn't have a real influence on the offense this year. He's not a Gronk as far as the way he blocks, but he can be a mismatch as far as splitting him out. He's a very good route runner. Of course, catches the ball well, can do some things after the catch. And that's where I think it's exciting that they added him to the mix. Like the first two picks of the draft, I think tell you that they're changing their attitude there in Pittsburgh. Oh, now we got Ebron, Freiermuth, Najee Harris, Claypool, and JuJu SmithSchuster on the field. Two big receivers, right, to go along with two tight ends and a big running back. Oh, we can put two tight ends to the right and bring JuJu down, who's like a great blocking receiver, and now play smash mouth. And like we always talk about. So now a team brings in a linebacker, and now the next play, they're split out in a 4-wide set. And now you're going, our linebacker's got to cover Ebron or Freiermuth. This isn't good. And I think that's probably what they're trying to do there in Pittsburgh, and that's where I'm very excited about their new formula.
You mentioned Eric Ebron, and look, anytime you see a second-round pick devoted to a tight end, that guy's going to get his opportunities. And Ebron has been confusing.
Right.
He's had that year, 2018 in Indianapolis, Pro Bowl year, his first season away from the Lions, 66 catches, 750 yards, 13 touchdowns. That was great.
Yeah.
He's otherwise not lived up to it. And this is a guy who was picked in 2014 by the Lions, 10th overall, with OBJ on the board, with Aaron Donald on the board, and he's just never lived up to that high-end potential that everyone pegged him to have coming into the NFL.
No, he is not. You're right. And
he's been good.
Yes.
He's been good.
It's not been bad.
But you take a tight end in the top 10,
right?
You expect more.
Yeah, you're right. He's only, like, to your point, had that 1 year that was like, whoa, that's a top 10 tight end type of year, or top 10 pick type of year for that tight end. Still really good in the pass game. Yeah, had a little case of the drops last year, right? Like we talked about, all those things. But again, I think even with this, it furthers our thought about Pittsburgh and the Tampa Bay approach. You know, again, that's what we saw in Tampa last year. They started to get good when they said, stop putting 3 and 4 receivers on the field. Let's put 2 tight ends on the field and smash mouth. And then when the team overplays their hand to stop the run, Brady will dice them up with one-on-one coverage on the outside and make a great throw. And to me, that they can still do that. And Big Ben's arm is still really damn good to do it too. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And hopefully Ebron can be a big part of that.
Not that long ago, we talked about the Steelers' offensive line post-free agency defections. Alejandro Villanueva, a long-time left tackle. He's now gone. What do you – I mean, here's the big issue.
Yeah.
Marquise Pouncey.
Right.
He's gone.
Right.
That's a huge gaping hole in the middle of the line. It's an important function for a center of any offensive line. How hard is it going to be to replace him?
Never easy to replace a guy like Pouncey. You know, he's seen it all. It's like the old quarterback. He can look at a defense and go, oh, wait, they're going to bring this blitz. Hey, offensive line, slide this way, you know, do this, and it's seamless. And you take that for granted sometimes when you're a quarterback or an offense coordinator. It's a big hole they got to fill. And we know the offensive line's a question. I mean, you're right. But the big thing is, too, they have guys on the roster that they believe in, let alone they drafted a guy in the 3rd round. But, you know, I think when you look at it with Okafor, right, coming back, and then Zach Banner coming back, they probably look at that and go, we got our starting tackles. You got DeCastro back at guard. The kid Dotson started for them last year. You know, the rookie out of LSU, he's going to be there. So it is really about J.C. Hassenauer, I hope I said that right, as far as him in that spot. And we'll see where that goes. But I don't think the offensive line questions are as dire or as desperate as maybe we all thought towards the end of the season last year. That there is guys on this roster they believe in who have played and coming back from injury and all those things, to where I think this could be a quick fix and a quick change around for this team altogether.
All I know is the Steelers' offensive line, the 2 years they won the Super Bowl in the last decade, 2005 and 2008, was not good. It was one of the biggest liabilities on the team.
Right.
And they still grabbed a couple of Lombardi trophies with that weak link. That's rare. That's rare to have happen.
Yeah.
It helps when you've got the kind of defense the Steelers have enjoyed forever. Their front 7 this year, and with all the focus on offense, and it's always offense. Still a pretty good group. Even with Bud Dupree, now a Titan after the torn ACL last year, still a pretty damn good group in the front 7 for the Steelers defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's special still. I mean, it just doesn't matter, whatever you want to say about it. I mean, it's still studs with Hayward and Tuitt, you know, and Watt. And you, of course, didn't have Devin Bush last year, who's one of the better middle linebackers in football. So, yeah, it's a really good group. Vince Williams is back. He's still got good play in front of him. It's all going to be just about finding that other presence to be the edge pass rush guy. And I think, you know, of course, they'll figure that out. But it's a front 7 that's got everything as far as, you know, versatility, depth, talent. I think that's where you could be really excited. When you have backups like Wormley and Tyson Alualu, I mean, that's when you know life is pretty damn good. But I think the big question is that other edge guy. You know, who takes over there? Is it Highsmith? But they need that pass pressure presence on that other side of that defense for sure.
During the heyday of the Blitzburg defense, when they incorporated the zone blitz under Bill Cowher, it seemed like every year they'd see a linebacker walk away in free agency, and they'd plug another guy in, and he'd get double-digit sacks. And then that guy's contract expires, and he goes somewhere else. And they just constantly reloaded that position. And the secondary, that's – look, when you got a great front 7, you don't need a great secondary. They've got Minka Fitzpatrick, who ended up being a great acquisition with a first-round pick. They made that trade September 2019. The rest of it, though, Joe Hayden's been around for a while. Steven Nelson's a guy who was cut when just kind of unexpectedly, and he's still available. No one signed him yet. Where does that secondary rank for the Steelers, and is that an area of significant concern for the defense?
It is for me. It is. It's been better than like at the corner position than maybe I would have gave it credit for, or even would have thought of going into the last 2 years. Like, they've done a better job covering people man to man and doing that than maybe the names would lead you to believe, and that type of stuff. Safety position, they're pretty damn good. Yeah, and you're right. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's really special on the back end. But to me, that is one of the things I think that is something I will look at and continue to evaluate, like with Pittsburgh. When you look at their roster, I think it's one of the more concerning things on their football team. You know, true cover corners. And again, can they match up with a team like Kansas City and do that? I don't know if they can. That's what scares me against, some of those more high-octane passing offenses. I'm not sure how they would match up.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.